for this gathering, this last week, our chief of police went on the news and made some real discouraging remarks about a member of this community, Khalil Coleman. He singled him out, and we feel that that was totally wrong and unfair. Khalil is a young man that is doing the right thing. So we have gathered here today, and we just want to share with the press. So we're going to get started with this press conference, and the first person that's going to speak to you is coming forward at this time.
I have a brief statement that I want to make. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sean Muhammad. I'm also known as Cat Turner. I'm a spoken word artist here in the city of Milwaukee, but I am also a under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is in his name and in the name of his state representative, Student Minister William Muhammad, that I make this statement. In regards to the many recent events that have been taking place revolving around the deaths of black men in the city of Milwaukee, Ferguson, Missouri, Staten Island, New York, Jacksonville, Florida, Sanford, Florida, and a host of other cities and municipalities around America, we have come together. These reprehensible events have created a moment in time when black men have been forced to come together in unity, and those other cities that I mentioned earlier as well. Most recently, the death of Dontre Hamilton has sparked outrage in our community, the way this matter has been handled. There are pertinent questions that not only the family needs to be answered, but also that community as a whole needs to have answered. The family has not even had the opportunity to mourn properly because they feel disrespected. And the community is now distrustful of our law enforcement, and we have lost faith in our judicial system. Khalil Coleman, one of our leading and most passionate activists here in the city of Milwaukee, he has always taken the lead when it came to matters of injustice involving our people. Whether it was how the mother of Darius Simmons was handled after she witnessed the murder of her son, or speaking out about the malfeasance in the handling of the death of Derek Williams, and now the Dontre Hamilton situation. Chief Flynn recently and unfairly labeled Khalil Coleman as an opportunist, but we vehemently disagree with his assessment. We in the black community know Mr. Coleman as being a young man that walks the roughest neighborhoods in the city of Milwaukee, seeking out young people, encouraging them to stop the killing and seek peaceful ways to resolving their conflicts. We know him as a young man that volunteered his entire summer to work with black boys in the We Got This program. We know him as a community organizer and a lover of his people. He works in the schools and in the streets and is not motivated by vanity or money. We don't accept your mischaracterization. What role did you play in the incident that happened this past Thursday at the Fire and Police Commission meeting that caused it to spin out of control? Perhaps it was your arrogance and not Khalil's opportunism that provoked the incident. We don't feel like the community asking that the name of the officer who killed Dontre be released is asking for something unreasonable. We don't feel like the family asking for meetings with the chief is irrational. From our vantage point, transparency from the Milwaukee Police Department would be an act of good faith and good public relations. However, we now know not to expect cooperation from this administration. It would be illogical for us to expect anything other than what we've been getting. If Chief Flynn is nothing else, he is definitely consistent. But we want Mayor Barrett to know that Chief Flynn singling out our brother is unacceptable. Brother Khalil was just a messenger, voicing the concerns of us all. So how dare you single out our brother and speak to his character as if you had a moral authority to do so? As a community, we have tried unsuccessfully to have a working relationship with the police department. However, we waste no more time with that as long as Flynn is presiding as chief. The black community, the expecting justice from you is like the chief expecting the sheep, expecting mercy from the wolf. So we do, however, have a question for Mayor Barry. And that's how long do you plan to allow this man to preside over your constituents? The black community knows what we're looking at. And I'm sure that you might rush to find some Negroes to stand with the chief, but they will not be able to refute his blatant disrespect of our community. We stand with Brother Khalil with the Hamilton family in their quest for justice. And we refuse to allow you to single out, and we refuse to accept your attempt to assassinate his character as if your perception is a thing of truth. Mayor Barry, we expect more from you, though, because the black community has been good to you. You couldn't even gotten into office without our vote. And if it weren't for the black vote, even when you ran for governor, then you would have been totally humiliated because your own people throughout the state didn't support you. So we demand more from you. Otherwise, it may not be as easy for you to get back in office as it was before. And finally, I just want to say this to the black leadership in the city of Milwaukee. Anybody who may take issue with this coalition of men coming together, out of respect, we ask you to stand down. It would not be wise for you to rush to be an apologist in this day, especially if you have previously been silent on the matters in question. If there is any black leader who has issue with anything that we saying at this press conference, we'll make ourselves available for any dialogue at your request. However, if you come against us and side with those who wish to deny our people justice, then you will be setting yourself up for the wrath of Allah and the wrath of his people. Thank you for listening. May Allah bless you with the light of understanding. Assalamu alaikum.
I'm Nate Hamilton. I'm Dontre Hamilton's brother. I'm here on behalf of the family of Dontre. And I just want to clear up that this is a community thing. This is not a real Coleman thing. This is not a one-person show. But this is the show that's orchestrated by the community. And we are standing together and standing firm on what we believe in, what we believe in the injustice within our city. And we are going to continue to stand. We're going to continue to back Khalil as a member of the Coalition for Justice and getting justice and getting the right things to come in place within the chief of police. He's wrong, he assumed, and we all know what happens when you assume things. The family is back in Khalil. Khalil is back in the family. He's behind the family, putting forth what we feel is right and what we feel needs to be done. So the Hamilton family stands alongside of him. We're going to be here. We're not going anywhere until justice is served for all those families, my family, and I want you guys to stop speculating. I want you guys to stop twisting things because we will stop talking to the media. We will stop contacting you guys and having you come out here and see us because you can't sit up here and tell your story. It's our story to tell. So when it's being said, play it all the way through. Don't cut it, don't skip it over, don't put in what you want to be put in, but put in the truth. And the truth is the people is tired. The black community has been down for too long, and we're tired of being down when there's so many things and resources that allow us to get up. So we want to access them resources. We are allowed those resources. We are allowed justice. The family, yes, we met with the district attorney. He gave us the name of the police officer. Also, we saw pictures of the officer which had no bruises on his body. So with knowing that, we want the community to know so it will be not biased, no impartial judgment, no impartial outlook on what has happened in this situation. Dontre was murdered on that day of April 30th. He was killed by a police officer that was not under a threat. And that was what was seen in July when we saw those pictures. Now, they don't want to show those pictures. Why? Because it will raise questions. It will say that the chief of police lied about an officer going to be treated for injuries that he didn't have. So today, you know, this officer has no injuries. We'll be meeting with the district attorney in about 30 minutes to discuss nothing. You understand? We were supposed to meet with the district attorney for him to come out with a decision on whether he was going to charge this officer or not. That has been postponed. So this family is still frustrated. We're still hurt, and we're still going to continue to fight for justice alongside Khalil Coleman, and he's going to still continue to fight for justice alongside of Dontre Hamilton. So you will continue to see these brothers standing here firm, strong, and what we believe in was an injustice, not just for this family, but the families to come. You will see us, so remember our faces.
To the members of the media here, not just the people taking pictures, but the media. I don't see any African American representation. Glad that you're here. Let's make sure we get the meat of this story.
First, let me say that I'm disappointed that John Chisholm decided not to honor his commitment and actually render the verdict. You know, there's only a certain amount of time that folks can stand when injustice has occurred. And given the facts that are coming out in this case, I'm very disappointed with the city of Milwaukee and its leadership, especially as it deals with law enforcement and also the balance of justice. Because let me tell you about the balance of justice. And I'm going to tell you in facts about this young man named Khalil Coleman. He's old enough to be my son. And when you find your son being attacked, you want to come out like a Papa Bear. And I think you see a lot of Papa Bears right now, right behind me, saying that we are ready not to lose our children. Khalil Coleman, May 2nd, contacted me, very disturbed about what happened in Benel Park. We had a very heated conversation about patience, about prayer, but most importantly, about fairness and justice. With all of these young men behind me, Khalil decided to show restraint. Restraint. Because if Khalil decided with his group of folks who we understand only want peace and justice, Red Arrow Park would have looked like first. But it didn't. Because we have a young kid that is born in integrity. He is born with understanding that the political process can be false. It can be flawed. And the unfortunate reality is that the pain that comes after it, whether it's the Hamilton family or whether it's all of the other families that experience in custody deaths, there's only a certain amount of time that the community can be restrained. I am continuing to ask all of you who are out there not to ask these young brothers behind you to be restraintful, but ask the folks who had the opportunity to make the decision to make the decision now. Because if they don't make the decision, what you're going to find out is people continuing to lose hope in government. And when you lose hope in government, the folks who are supposed to represent you, the people who are supposed to have your back, then understandably, you are going to find out your own way of what the truth is. The truth is out here. The Department of Criminal Investigation has released their report. It's in the hands of the District Attorney's Office, and for almost 4 weeks, we still have not made a decision. Meanwhile, other jurisdictions has already appointed a grand jury. The Chief of Police has already made comments, not to the detriment of the folks who are actually activists and mobilizing, but he actually told his police officer to show restraint, in which they did. And then finally, and I'm going to have to say this, whether people like it or not, it did not take the mayor 4 months to actually meet with the family down first. It took him 3 days to meet with the family of the victim down in Ferguson. There's something that's systemically wrong here in the city of Milwaukee. Yes. And we have to correct it. And if we don't correct it, then I think that there is something that's brewing in this city, and I think that no one wants to know what that brew will actually come about. Because if we don't lock hands and arms and ask for justice when we see injustice occur, then everybody's going to be responsible for the results.
That's right.
Good evening. My name is Wendell J. Harris. I serve as first vice president of the Wisconsin Conference of Branches NAACP. On yesterday, I received a call from Khalil Coleman. Khalil is a young man who I've worked with for a few years now. I'll go so far as to say that he's one of my proteges. When I look at this group of young men, I see many of my proteges. Those of you who've been in the news media in this town for any length of time know who I am. You know that I've been fighting for justice in our community, primarily the community that serves poor, black, and brown-skinned people, and we leave no one out. I want to make this statement for the NAACP, directed to the Chief of Police. I was told that the chief allegedly made the comment, and I'm going to say allegedly because I did not hear it and I didn't hear from his mouth, but I did hear from Khalil Coleman's mouth, that Khalil Coleman only looked for opportunities to advance his cause. I say to the chief on behalf of the NAACP, not just the Wisconsin NAACP, but the NAACP worldwide and national, that we stand behind our young leaders. Khalil Coleman is a member of the NAACP, young leaders, and we're going to stand with him. He's only doing what he's been mentored to do. We cannot have a strong voice in this community and in other communities around this country. As the Alderman Joe Davis said, we will have chaos. We have to appreciate people like Khalil Coleman because he speaks the truth. He's only asked for justice for the Hamilton family and all the other families that's lost family members at the hands of the police department in the city of Milwaukee. Now I bring that up because for the last 30 years, there's not been one murder committed by this police department that I have not been a part of somehow trying to console the family. One that comes to mind is a young man up on Hampton Avenue a few years back who called his mother on the phone on his way from home and said, "Mom, please open the door because they're following me and I'm afraid that they're going to kill me." We know that story. When he got home, he was shot down trying to get into his mother's house. This community has to take a look at what's been happening to our young people. We will not stand down. Khalil Coleman and the other young men who follow him, and young women, we stand with you. Mr. Mayor, a good friend of the NAACP, a friend of mine, we challenge you to do the right thing. There's no moral, justifiable reason why the Hamilton family have not received all information that you have regarding the killing of their son. This organization and everything we stand for, the NAACP, stands with our community, Khalil Coleman, and your community. We want justice and we demand it. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Ramel Smith. I first met Khalil Coleman at the hospital. What I saw was a young man full of energy, full of life. As years have gone by, I've known him for over 8 years. What I've seen is him grow into a father, a loving father, one who wants everything for his son. All of us will stand here together in solidarity to say, it's just not Khalil Coleman. We are all Khalil Coleman in that case. I'm a PhD. But I'm still afraid of police brutality.
That's right.
When we start to think about what's going on in our community, let's get this right. We are not upset at good cops.
That's right.
We are upset at the cops who take advantage of us. And for those good cops, we say are good cops, just be known. The only thing it takes for evil to exist and to continue is for good men to do nothing.
That's right.
So we talk to those good police officers that go inside of that blue brotherhood. Talk to your brothers. Because as it's been said before, you can have civil disobedience or you can have guerrilla warfare. We can be nice and we can do this peacefully, or it can go into a manner that I think no one wants because it works to nobody's advantage. The question and the answer is up to the police, to Chief Flynn and all those involved. Khalil, we're staying with you. God bless.
That's right.
I want to thank everybody for coming out today, because this is an important moment in this community. We recently seen our police chief, instead of being forthcoming and point out the truth of what's happening when the community is concerned, he spins. He spins to highlight a community member that has done nothing wrong, but has stood up for justice in this community. So as he spins to point out somebody that I know, Khalil Coleman, that I know where his heart is. And I know for the simple fact that day in, day out, his heart is on this community. Period. And for the leading police officer in this community to target him, to try to divide and conquer this black community, and people that are on the front lines fighting for justice, it is wrong. He is wrong for what he has done, and the mayor needs to check him on it. I'm somebody in the community that has stood up in these situations time and time again. And we are tired of our young people being taken. Young people that are not criminals. Young people that are perceived to do wrong. And they frequent these streets. And they fear those who are sworn to protect and serve them to take their life as if that's what they deserve. But we are here to stand and say, we cannot take that anymore. We cannot take those who are in government, who are supposed to be supporting this community, to be against us. And it's time for everyone to understand the new direction that this community needs to move into. You can continue to try to sweep it under the rug, and you can continue to try to spin it. But the issue is still remaining the same, that Dontre Hamilton is dead.
That's right.
And he's not here anymore.
That's right.
And Mike Brown is dead, and he is not here anymore. And we are concerned because we believe in this community. And if we didn't, we would have been gone by now.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to be very clear. We represent the group of young people and black men that believe in this community. And we know many that have already left. But anytime when you don't want to address the real issues, you are a part of the problem. And attacking Khalil Coleman is the problem. That is not the solution in this case. Address your own police department. Address your own system of oppression that continues to impact black and brown people. Because they want to live in this community too. And they want to invest in this community too. So I'm here to just stand today with brothers in this community that I know where their heart is, and Khalil Coleman's heart is in the right place. Thank you.
My name is Muhib Dyer. I represent the I Will Not Die Young campaign, which I am brothers with Brother Khalil Coleman and my good brother Kwabena Antone Nixon. The statement that we want to make on behalf of our organization is simply this. As I said before, America has a bug problem. I'm going to say it again. America has a bug problem. They are bugged by the existence of African American males. And any time that a bug occupies your space, as human beings, we feel as though we have a divine right to eliminate that bug. So we call on the exterminators in order to do it. And what we bear witness to today is that the exterminators have come out all across this country. Whether it be Red Arrow Park, whether it be Ferguson, Missouri, whether it be Oscar Grant in Oakland, California, whether it be the brother in New York City.
The exterminators have come out. And really nobody even cares about a bug. And we can see that the existence of young black males when they die, specifically here on the streets of Garfield, Galena, and Vine, and Center, and Houghton, and Buffalo, the flags are not lowered at half-mast. There are not any moment of silence for the children of the ghetto. All we get is swept off the concrete in garbage bags, body bags that look alike garbage bags, and deposited in cemetery dumping sites. So why are we here today? We are here today because we know that you're going to respond to this cadre of black men like, oh, you're being over-dramatic. But ask yourself, how over-dramatic would you be if young white males were being killed on the streets of America every day? What would be your response if young white males were being killed on the streets of America today? What would it be? We are pricking your conscience today. And we are tired of the distracting arguments that you propose to us, saying, well, you all are out there doing it to each other, then you need to clean up your own business. Well, how about this? The reason why we don't march when young black males kill other young black males because the system is very efficient at locking up the black males who do it. But ask yourself, is the system efficient? It is very inefficient when it comes to doing the same for white police officers who do it to young black males. We are not fooled today by the arguments that you put out. And last but not least, I want to say this. With all due respect, Chief, I humbly submit to you. If you believe that this is show business, if you believe that my brother Khalil Coleman and all of us who stand strong today are opportunistic, stop giving us the opportunity then. We wouldn't have the opportunity to stand before the cameras if our people were not dying on the streets every day. Take the opportunity from us. We would love to not be here. We would love to be with our relatives and our family members. We would love to be with our sons and our daughters. We would love to not disturb you in your business. We would love it. We would love a country where liberty and justice for all included us. We would love that type of country. But you gotta make that happen. You gotta tell your people to make that happen. Make that happen so that America cannot just be symbolically what it's supposed to represent, but it can represent the equality of all. Whether it's the little black boy who is in the ghetto, or the little white boy who is in the suburbs. You make that happen. And until you make that happen, then we will exercise our constitutional rights and demand for justice.
In closing, I'd like to just tell you a brief story. This summer, I had the opportunity to work with young black males on the street corner of 9th and Ring. We did something tremendous. The third week that I was working with about 15 little black boys, Officer Smith, a white officer in a van, a marked van, pulled up to the boys while they were working. And he rolled his window down and he asked the boys, what are you guys cleaning up? Bullets? The little boys got really upset and said, Mr. Andre, no matter what we do and look how they treat us, I guess he thought I was a kid. Because he didn't see me until I pulled off my hat. And I talked to him. And I let him have it on behalf of the kids. But that 15 number grew to almost 100 weeks after that. Black men, black women, and other people came with no help from governmental funding and other things. We took care of a little black boys, and we did good, and we did great. Policemen came, but they had on plain clothes, and they donated money to pay the boys. Without the uniformed police officers, we were able to get it done decent and in order. And based on the actions of the police, I don't think that would have happened had we not taken charge. That's what we're doing today, taking charge. This press conference is over. Please do not try to interview anybody here individually. Do not talk to the press. Any information that they get will come out of this press conference. Anybody that decides to do otherwise is considered a snake. Have a good night. All right?
It's going to be outside. Supervisor Bowen, you might be a snake in that. Well, we'd like to talk to you.
Ain't no interview.
Channel 4 would like to talk to you.
No interviews right now.
You don't want to answer Channel 4's questions, Supervisor
No interviews right now. No interviews right now.
We've got questions for the
No
elected
interviews
officials.
right now.
Supervisor Bowen, you don't want to answer any questions.
Don't you have any type of respect, man? You heard the man said.
He's an elected
No
official. We
interviews
deserve
right
to
now.
ask him questions.
Listen
Well, I'm doing my job.
Brother, no interviews right now.
They don't know how to listen either. They don't talk to them. You just know that they go real press conference and nothing. I'm not playing. And I'm not playing. Enough of them not listening to us. You're going home. What are we doing?
That's how y'all gonna you back up. Can you back up some?
You good, come on.
Y'all gotta get in some more. Y'all push up. Okay, let me come this way. Hold on, let me come this way. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I can't see you, Tay.
Can't see me.
Now I gotta take with my phone.